And then I was looking at a mock draft for 2026, which is probably a mistake, obviously. But and I'm not going to get too deep into, person having the Seahawks with another offensive lineman out of Utah for next year. Maybe you know the name.
Logan Fano. Yeah.
Spencer Fano.
Spencer
Fano.
His brother Logan's at the end. Yeah,
okay, which is cool. But they had them picking 12th?
Correct.
Like the Seahawks are going to get 6 spots worse after what they just did in the offseason? I don't know. It feels hard for me to imagine. Brian Baldinger, NFL Network, kind enough to take a few minutes with us. That kind of struck me as odd, Brian. Do you think the Seahawks have gotten 6 positions worse in the NFL during the course of this offseason?
You know what I find odd? I find that there's mock drafts for 2026 out there. That's what I find odd.
Obviously.
We haven't even gone to minicamp yet, and we're already.
It's an insatiable appetite.
I don't feel like the Seahawks are going backwards. I feel like this division, like a lot of divisions, is going to be wildly competitive. They asked me the other day, has Seattle closed the gap on the Rams? I'm like, well, they both finished 10-7. I know what the Rams did in the playoffs, but we'll see. You've got a new quarterback, new system, new coordinator. There's a lot of changes in place, but the talent is certainly there to win 10 games for sure. And so that's where it kind of starts if you're thinking about the playoffs right now.
Baldy, I look at some of your stuff on Twitter, and you just float around in the ocean out there. You don't mind if sharks or like Salk is terrified.
Like
Salk's terrified of rivers, ponds, lakes, everything.
Nope, I don't go in the water.
I don't show this stuff to Salk because I don't think we'd have you. I think he'd be too spooked.
No, quite the opposite. I just think Brian's a real man. I'm not. I think the things that live in the water, you should leave them alone and let them have their space. And I don't want them in my space. I'm just stay separate.
I don't have a spear gun in my hand. I'm just down there observing. But, any day you see a shark in the water, outside of a bull shark, I'm not crazy about them. They're not crazy about me. But lemon sharks and black tips and nurse sharks, that makes diving more fun. And so anytime I get a chance to see that, the turtles and, right now it is, it just finished lobster season down here in South Florida. So, we got hogfish season right now. They're delicious. So we got a crew going out, I think, on Sunday, a little hog fishing on Sunday afternoon. That'd be good.
It's probably a poor segue and a worse analogy, but isn't the draft a little bit like scuba diving? You go down there and what is my team going to get? Yeah. The Seahawks are going to get this big lineman. They're going to get this freak show safety from South Carolina. You don't know exactly what is going to be down there, but let's start on Gray Zabel. I know you did some study on all of these offensive linemen. He's, it's a sweet spot for you, man. That's a position you played for a long time in the NFL there in the interior. What do you think this transition will be like for Gray Zabel onto the NFL?
Well, before I get to Gray, let me just say the guy I'm going diving with on Sunday is Big Cat Williams. So I just thought I'd throw Seattle's, star defensive tackle out there. But he's the master. So I just want to let you know. Wow. All right. I'm only going with the best. But Gray Zabel, I don't know. I can't remember, Brock, if you went to the Senior Bowl or not.
He dominated it. He dominated the Senior Bowl, actually. He was there.
That's where I first, saw him, Brock. And what's interesting is a couple things. One, he was a right tackle in 2023, left tackle last year. So I talked to a general manager about him a couple weeks before the draft, and I said, is his comp Cody Mock, who came out of North Dakota State, similar size, all that stuff, and has been starting right guard in Tampa the last 2 years. And he goes, I'll be honest with you, Baldy, I think he could be Graham Barton, which was the best center in the draft last year. And he went and played a lot of center at the Senior Bowl, took a lot of snaps, took every rep he could get. And I'm not sure, maybe you know more right now, because I haven't talked to John Schneider or anybody, but, if the plan is to let him compete at center, I think he'll win that job at center. But if they want him to play guard, he'll win the job at guard. Either way, I think you got a starting offensive lineman. He's big. He's a lot bigger than what people think. He's 6'6" now, and he's a good knee bender. He's a very good athlete. He was never on the ground when I saw him. It was always a good sign of athletic ability, and I think he's got, real versatility to play either inside a guard or center.
He's going to play guard, it sounds like, at least to start. We talked to Steve Hutchinson yesterday, who said they're going to start him at left guard, but that doesn't mean that's where he ends up. I mean, obviously, you're right. He's got that versatility. As you start to, drift back into this draft, one of the things that jumped out, and we've talked about a lot, is a kind of a combination of good, solid picks of guys that fit needs and at good value, and then also a couple of guys with some really big upside, whether that's Nicky Manwari or whether it's Jalen Milroe. Yeah. Do you have a favorite upside pick of what the Seahawks did and what John Schneider did this year?
Well, I mean, that tape of Torrey Horton is unbelievable. I mean, they're looking for receivers right now to what they've lost, but I'd take a good look at Torrey Horton out of Colorado State. But, I mean, I was at Miami's Pro Day, and I saw Elijah Arroyo run live, and he's been injured a bunch up until this year. But I thought he was the best route runner at the Senior Bowl. The tape I saw and the practice film that I saw from there and the moves that he put on, that ability to really change direction without losing speed, I mean, it looked pretty elite to me. So they lost a bunch of tight ends last year. They got to kind of restock right now with Noah Fant. So I feel like he's a guy that could step in and give him some reps right away as both. I don't know how good of a blocker he is. I don't see him doing that a lot. It looks like kind of that flex tight end that's always in motion. But I think there's a bunch of guys that are going to step in and contribute.
Baldy, I apologize. I wasn't studying the ACC football in the 80s when you were crushing skulls at Duke. So I don't go quite back that far. And I wonder how big of a transition was the ACC and playing at Duke there in the 80s to the NFL? Because I bring that back to Gray, right? And Hutch said, hey, listen, man, Mock, all these guys from North Dakota State have transitioned just fine. But I guess my question would be, is you go from Duke to the NFL, as he goes from North Dakota State to the NFL, what are some of the biggest transition areas and steps he's got to take?
Well, I mean, the one thing, for North Dakota State, actually, they run a real, they're a two tight end system. They run a real pro system there. It's not like they're in, four wide receivers, Brock. I mean, I know you know this, but I'm just telling the audience. They're not a four wide receiver team like a Big 12 team that's just out there, with no tight ends and no power game. And, they run a real power game. They do a lot of stuff that we see at the NFL level. I'm with Hutch. I'm around Hutch a lot, the OL Masterminds. He does a good job of scouting these guys out. For me, look, I was lucky. Steve Spurrier came to be our offensive coordinator, so we were throwing the ball a lot more than other teams were when I was in college. I was going to say, to answer your question, it's a big jump, pass protection. You go from maybe seeing one guy in the entire conference at North Dakota State that can play at the NFL to going up against, pick a guy, those all those guys at the Rams right now, or, a guy like, that Arizona drafted in Walter Nolan. All of a sudden you're seeing big, powerful defensive tackles that are 220, 230 pounds. That's, just handling those guys, seeing Big Cat Williams in practice every day and his power and his hands and how he plays the game. I mean, that's probably the biggest jump, is just being able to handle it. I think he's going to be fine just because of his length and his core strength, but still, you haven't never really blocked anybody that you're going to see on Sundays right now in his conference.
How do you get hooked up with Leonard Williams to go diving?
Because he's the renowned spear fisherman, Salk. He's the greatest in the world right now.
Big Cat is renowned. Like, he invited me. I was in California one time. He's like, let's go to Catalina. Let's do some diving. I'm like, how long can you hold your breath? I'm thinking I'm going to rescue Big Cat, 10 seconds into this dive. He goes, I'm good for 2.5. I'm like, all right, I'm coming with you. And he's got a master with the gun. He's a master cook. Just got married, all that stuff. But we have a guy, Lejay Zabel, who played in this league for a while. We do some stuff with the Jets, and they all live in Hollywood down there just south of where I'm at. So Big Cat's got the boat. I'm going to whoever's got the boat, Brock. He's got the boat. He's got the gun. So, I'm ready to go. It's a good time of the year to get in the water.
Sounds like one of those things that would, invalidate his contract or something. Like, they allow him to go do that?
It just shows his athleticism. I have respect. Defensive linemen that can run a 4.8 40, but I really have massive respect when a 300-pound defensive lineman can hold his breath for 2.5 minutes.
Is he?
They don't do that test. They don't do that test at the combine. I don't get those numbers.
Maybe they should. That's a good something I never really thought about before.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, you know, when he was taking that Aaron Rodgers pick six back for a touchdown, did you see him get fatigued in that run back?
I did not.
See it.
No.
That's lung capacity right there.
So all right. So enter into this season. Leonard Williams had an unbelievable year last year, by the way. He was so good, and we just really enjoyed watching him every single week. Did the Seahawks have enough, starting with the big cap, but kind of going up and down that front seven and into that defense, not to be good? I know they're good. Do they have enough, adding Nick Eamon-Warry and whatever else they did here in the offseason, adding DeMarcus Lawrence, can they be elite? Can they have an elite defense?
I feel like they can, just because I feel like it takes a half a year to really understand what Mike McDonald wants to do. It took them a half a year in Baltimore before they became the best defense in football his last year there. Same thing at Michigan. It takes a while. It's a lot of concepts, matchup zones, some of the things they do. Other teams do it. I don't know that they do it quite like Mike does. And so, you know, they've got tremendous length right now in the secondary. They've got great speed, athleticism. I think you're going to see. And just talking to Mike at the Combine this year and Leslie Frazier, I asked him about Devin Witherspoon. And, like, they feel like Devin Witherspoon could be, like, a little bit like Kyle Hamilton with the Ravens, where they're really matching him up, putting him in certain situations, playing him in star position. So I feel like they could there's another step to take. I think the talent level has improved. And then just understanding the concepts of what they do, I think it's going to kick in this year. And I think, you know, they're going to start and hit the field running in September this year with a real good understanding of what they want to do and why they do it.
You know, it's interesting, Baldy. They said that about Spoon then, and I don't know, and they didn't know they could add Nick Eamon-Warry because they said the same thing sitting at the podium on Saturday. So now, man, you have a couple interchangeable parts like that with that kind of twitch and athleticism. Going to be fun to watch. I want to circle back lastly to something you said earlier. Did you say it's the opener of pig fishing season? What did you say?
Hogfish, Brock. Hogfish.
Hog?
Yeah, go Google the hogfish, man, and then find somebody in one of those seafood markets in Seattle that is selling it. They might not. It's an Atlantic fish, so they might not have it out there.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Delicious.
In the pike. Yeah, hogfish.
Oh yeah, it's delicious. It's a mess to clean. It's also grouper season too. So I mean, grouper or hogfish, you can't go wrong.
Oh, that's good stuff. That is good stuff.
I'm looking at these hogfish. They got spikes on them, dude. That's gross.
Oh yeah, they're a mess. They're a mess, but you know, you clean them up. That meat is sweet meat now. Oh yeah.
You care about what numbers guys are wearing, Baldy? You think that matters?
Yeah, I do.
I do too.
Yeah,
and so I'm glad to hear you say that because I think it's a big deal. And I've been really excited these first couple of days here about the potential of Jalen Milroe. I'm excited about where it could go. And then yesterday the news came out. He's going to wear number 6. Does he not? Do these kids not have any sense of history of how awful that number is on a quarterback? What is going? Do I have to completely sell all my stock in Jalen Milroe?
Was Sam Howell number 6?
Yes.
Yeah. Bubby Brister was number 6. Like, he can't wear number 6. It's a bad quarterback number.
You know, if you were a teammate of Bubby, man, I mean, come on, I played a year with Bubby. Like, you wanted that guy to be your teammate.
I'm sure he did. Change his number. He might have had success in the NFL.
Well, I mean, who cares about success? When you can tell 80 stories like Bubby Brister, who cares if he can play? Just pull a chair up next to his locker and get your laugh on. That guy lived life now. Like, that guy was.
So do you, Baldy. So do you. Thank you. Thank you, as always, for jumping on with us, man. Our audience loves it. We love you. We love all the work you do. It's fun seeing you up in Boulder at that pro day as well. I know you were busy. We didn't really get to catch up, but we love your work, man. Appreciate you, Baldy.
Okay, Brock. You got it. Anytime, buddy. Talk to you soon. See you.
All right, there you go. There's Brian Baldinger. Well, we really do appreciate you guys watching our videos.
And remember, you can like it, you can subscribe it, you can download the Seattle Sports app so you never miss a minute.